the Squadcast podcast. We're talking about using robotics in the classroom. Using robotics in the classroom can feel overwhelming and difficult to align with standards. In today's episode, we hope to erase the fears of using robots in the classroom, show how robots can enhance learning, and guide you on how to get support for introducing them in the classroom. I'm joined by Jeremy Osborne, our robotics guru here at the Innovation Squad. Is guru too strong a word?
No, I appreciate that.
And so, we got a whole bunch of robotic options here. And I think sometimes, teachers think that they're just things that, are for fun and play and things like that. But there's actually a way that, a lot of teachers are and can use them in the classroom. And so let's talk about kind of our options here. And the first ones we want to talk about are the Spheros. What can teachers do with Spheros? How are they used? Kind of give us the background on those.
Yeah, Sphero's been a company that's been around for a while. There's a couple different types of Sphero robots. The ones that we find are the easiest to use and the most effective in the classroom are these little Sphero minis. They're pretty they're not cost prohibitive, and they're really easy to use. Small little robots here. And they can be used in a couple different ways. You can use coding to make those robots move. So if your kids are practicing coding, you can practice some coding stuff, block coding, drag and drop. But my favorite way to use these is with the drive feature, so that the students can use these on an iPad. I'm not going to demonstrate here on the table because it'll go flying off. But there's some really great activities that teachers are doing with the Sphero minis. One of my favorite ones is a game that the teachers are calling Multiplication Rush. And basically what it is it's practicing multiplication facts. You put those flashcards down on the floor instead of holding them up to your students. And on the floor, you put all of the answers to the multiplication problems. And then the teacher can call out problems, or you can have students doing this in a small group, if you're doing small math groups. And then the students race to find the answer to those multiplication problems. So it's just another way of looking at, we're doing flashcards and practicing multiplication all the time. This is a great activity with the Sphero robots.
Right, and we had talked to Sangria Intermediate and Miss Lloyd there, who's done some things like that. So we're going to show that interview at the end of this podcast. So stick around and see what the students say about using Spheros and using multiplication in there as well. When you talk about coding, I think people sometimes get a little bit scared of that word coding, like they're going to have to hack in and code. But talk about kind of how coding has become this kind of block coding that is kind of user friendly, especially for kids of all ages.
So coding has really kind of come to the forefront in the last couple of years as far as what students are able to do and teachers are able to do. And as a teacher, you don't have to be like a computer scientist to get your kids involved in coding. There's a lot of things with like Hour of Code and things like that have really been kind of pushed into schools, and a lot of kids are used to doing those things. Kids are on the computers using programs like Scratch. The block coding is very simple. It's just, drag, drop onto your screen, connect all those things together, press play, see if it works. If it doesn't work, it's a lot of troubleshooting, problem solving, going back and seeing how those things actually work. So it's, it's not intimidating to the point where you can't do it. I found when I was first learning this stuff that the kids would figure things out. It wasn't my job to be the expert in all the coding.
Right.
It was my job to, facilitate that and help them work through the problems. And I learned a lot about it as I was getting my kids involved in that too, because, as you're trying to help them troubleshoot, you're learning things as you go. So you don't have to be an expert to be using robots in your classroom.
And so not only can robots provide kind of standard-based learning through multiplication, but then our Berkeley County work-life skills, I think, are very much evident here when kids are problem-solving, they're collaborating, they're having to communicate and figure this out. And I can tell you that my 5-year-old loves Dash, who we're going to get to here in a little bit, and she can drag and drop the blocks and kind of figures out. And so, building cause and effect. If I do this, then there's this effect that the robot has. So
yeah, we do hear a lot of, my kids are too young for that. They won't be able to do that. And some of the stuff does take a little bit of learning. Your primary grades do struggle a little bit with some of that drag and drop coding. But like you said, as they learn it and figure things out, it really is great for the troubleshooting, those 4 C's that we really push the creativity and things like that.
Gotcha.
It's a great tool to use.
So you got Spheros, these are minis, and then this is like a full-size Sphero here?
Yeah, there's a couple different versions of Spheros that we have available. This is the Spark.
Okay, it's called Spark.
Just a little bit bigger. You can do some different things with that. but basically works the same way. You can do the coding or you can drive them.
Nice. All right, so the second one we want to highlight, and I've seen these actually being used in classroom. We were in Fox Bank Elementary the other day, and there were kids using these, and these are ozobots, which are these little guys right here. Hopefully you can see them. And so, these guys are cool because they actually have two different features, right? Talk us about what they can do when it comes to coding here.
Yeah, they do. So these are the ozobots, and the ozobots are a great tool because there's a lot of things that they can do with them. They light up, they make noises, so it's really engaging for the kids when they get into using them. There's two different ways that you can code with these. One, as you see our ozobot here going around on this little piece of paper, is with colored markers, and they use the colored markers to code, and the ozobot follows those lines. It reads the different colored patterns, and it does different things. So you see him spinning around here, doing different codes. He'll speed up, he'll slow down. So the kids learn about how to make the robot do what they want it to do. And the second way is they have a program on the Chromebooks called the Ozo Blockly. And again, that's the drag and drop block coding. So students can use that. And it goes through and it walks them through a bunch of different challenges, teaches them how to use it. And then once the students feel comfortable with it, you can introduce those into your lessons,
right,
and let them kind of come up with their own codes to do different things.
I know storytelling is big with this one because the kids can draw a story using the tracing, and then when he gets to certain things, the story can change based off of the coloring code. I know, so that's a popular one with.
Yeah, it's
what
great.
other ones have you seen?
Yeah, anything with timelines where they're going down timelines. I've seen some really good math activities that are done with this, with kind of random choices and things like that. Plot diagrams where you're following the plot and things like that. It's really just kind of a way to increase the engagement with your students. All of these tools are not really designed to teach your students the curriculum that you're teaching, just to increase the engagement and get them really interested in what you're doing.
Huge. And we have kits that come with the markers, comes with the paper, comes with how to code. Yeah. Some schools also have kits, so we definitely ask around, see if your school has one. If not, reach out to your ILC and we can get a kit to you, and we can help support that as well. I think that's the biggest thing, is that we're here to support on all of those kind of robotics needs as you're using them in. So we're kind of moving, we went small, big to small. Now we're moving to the really big ones. We got Dot over here behind, right there. Yeah, what can Dot do?
So Dot is not a mobile robot. Dot goes in conjunction with the Dash robots.
Okay.
They communicate with each other. Dot can give directions to Dash. So when you get into doing some of the coding stuff, Dot's a good kind of, tell Dash what to do, and Dash will go and do that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
The Dash robots are really where you get your engagement here.
Hopefully they don't roll off the table. We're breaking the #1 rule of robots and using them on tables.
Using them on the table.
Right. It's always best to use them on floors. So.
Oh. Yeah, you might move a little bit. So you've got 2 Dash robots here set up. The Dash robots come with different attachments to them. You see one here that's got a xylophone. Really good. I've used this in my classroom when I was in the classroom to talk about things like pitch and tone within a science lesson. And then the kids have fun because they can create their own, musical pieces and stuff like that, and composing. But really, talking about those different skills in the science lesson.
Right.
And then giving them an opportunity to try those things out. And then this other Dash here is attached.
I feel like I'm in like an infomercial.
Yeah, it's equipped with the launcher.
Yeah, this
attachment.
is really cool.
And this one allows you to take a ball. It's got 3 kind of like ping pong balls, and it allows you to launch those balls to do different things. Some examples of activities that we've used this for. I use this in my classroom as a tool for creating fractions. So we were learning about fractions, and instead of just giving kids the fractions, they're creating the fractions. So making baskets, kids love to play basketball.
Absolutely.
So they're making baskets and they're creating fractions, and then we use those fractions in different activities. We did equivalence and adding, subtracting, comparing fractions and things like that. Basketball is a really fun game. The kids really get into it.
I can see this as like a review, kind of like like relay race where you got to answer the question. You answer the question right, you get a chance to shoot it. I can use that definitely. I can see that. So really cool. You gonna try to shoot one here?
I've seen it used. What letters on the bottom of that one, just to make sure we connect the right one?
A.
I've seen it used in measurement lessons,
right,
where you launch the ball and then have to measure how far it goes.
Nice.
So a lot of different applications for it. Again, you're just kind of increasing that engagement, getting the kids really excited about different things that you're doing. The dash is also allowed to be controlled, so you can drive the dash using the app we have here. There's 5 different apps that you can use. It also has coding that goes with it as well. Okay. So you can learn the coding, you can learn the driving features. It's a good tool to use to learn all of those things.
It has the drag and drop coding. It's a web based, it's not app based. So that's real nice. You just jump on the website. Chromebooks can use those.
Right.
So that's really nice to see. So
yep, a lot of different things that you can do with those. So
let's see if we're going to fire one. It's going to hopefully it works.
Fire away
for the podcast. That's cool. Yeah, I can definitely see where kids would be loving that. So.
Sure. It's a lot of fun, and it's really teaching them those skills that we talked about. Communication and being able to work collaboratively. Kids working together to solve problems with robots.
I haven't brought the attachment home yet to my daughter. I bet if I brought that home, that would be...
You'll be chasing those things all over the house.
And then there's another one over here that kind of looks the same, a little different. What's this one called?
This is Q.
Okay.
Q is really a little bit more advanced than the Dash robots. You can do some different coding with this. You've got the JavaScript coding. So,
nice.
Q we typically kind of reserve for our middle and high school students. It has a lot of the same features that Dash has, but it does have some more advanced features. He talks a lot more. So when you turn him on.
Oh, wow. Hopefully it doesn't come off.
Oh, well, look who's back.
Yeah, so that's nice that we've got.
He's a little bit more sarcastic, a little bit, so a little bit more advanced for some of those kids.
Nice. That's good to have in the high school setting, so that's something that they can get into. So
absolutely, and really, any of these things you can bring into any classroom and adapt it for what you're trying to do.
Nice. Are there any other kind of robotic options out there that that some people may have?
There's lots of different types of robotics. These are just kind of the main features of ones that we have here.
Right.
That teachers can sign out, that we can come out there and teach the teachers how to use them. But there's lots of different robotics out there. Anything that it's any sort of technology. As soon as you buy something, the next thing bigger and better is going to be out there. So teachers can see what's available. We get to kind of showcase those things and get them into kids' hands.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, we had the interview with Miss Lloyd and the students at Sanger Intermediate. So please enjoy that. And you're going to see how she integrates them in lessons, and then you're also going to hear about the students and just how excited they were to use robots in the classroom. So today I'm here with Miss Lloyd, who's an instructional coach at Sanger Intermediate, and she brought some of her wonderful robotic students with us. And so we're just looking at how our teachers and how are they utilizing robotics in the classrooms here at Sanger Intermediate.
So we are super excited to have the ability to purchase a bunch of robots through Title I and get those into the classrooms to help our students become more engaged and things like that. We've really been working with our WIG goals for Leader and Me, especially with the Spheros. And Tristan, do you want to talk about using the Spheros to help with your WIG, your math WIG fluency goals?
Yes, so whenever she came down to talk to us about them, we put math multiplications on the floor.
Right.
And she would call out the multiplication and we had to find the answer. So I got to do it, and once I found the answer, we all got to just have fun and stuff.
Absolutely. So you got engaged into what you had to figure out the problem, figure out the answer, and then make your robot get to where it is. And that's just more engaging way of learning math, isn't it? It makes it a little bit more exciting. That's great.
Yeah, it become like a big competition, didn't it?
Yeah.
We were watching. We like kept a big secret if you couldn't say the answer, and then they'd have to run, and they had a blast. They did. They've loved them, and they've really helped with your. Has it helped with your WIG goal?
Yes,
Like your
I made it
fluency?
finally.
Oh, you're a multiplication master, huh?
Oh, nice. Was there a lot of like learning curve when it came to using the robots, or did you find that it was pretty easy to once you got the hang of it to get them to do what you needed them to do?
Once I got the hang of it, it was easy. But when I first started, it was hard to control them. But since I got it.
So how did we do that? Can you talk them through? Did I just walk in and just give you the robots, or what did I do?
No, she taught us how to use the iPad, use the app on it, and then control the robots, make sure they're both connected to each one of them. And
what's Miss Lloyd's number one rule? We always get to what before we do the learning game? Get to play a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I think that added to it. I let them play for 2 minutes, and hey, they were sold.
Yep. So had to use some problem solving skills probably and critical thinking, and those are sometimes more importantly working life skills that I think that robots do more than anything else.
Absolutely. That's what I'm like. Listen, I'll bring you the robots. Y'all are going to teach me. I laughed and told him Chandler was 7 at the time, my 7-year-old. He knows more about it than I do. So I can tell you what I know, but y'all teach me.
Rebecca, what have you liked about using robots in the class?
It definitely helps with learning.
Yeah.
Because we did a reading one for main idea.
Nice.
And we would read the question and drive the robot to the answer that we think it is.
Which robot did you use for that?
The Sphero.
Yep. Yeah, same thing. Sphero. Good. Excellent. Anybody of you guys used like Dash or Dot? Yeah. How have you used Dash?
So Miss Lloyd came to our classroom one time, and it was, I don't remember why. I don't remember what we were doing, but I'm pretty sure it was some multiplication thing.
Right.
I think it was towards decimal, adding and subtracting decimals, wasn't it? Something like that.
And it was it had a little thing on the back of it, and it was you could put the ball in it and then shoot it.
Oh yeah.
Into a bin, and it was super fun.
Yes, that is really fun.
So we turned it into trash get ball.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What they'd do is they'd work with their team, and on the whiteboard you'd solve your answer. And then you got, 3 shots?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was 5th grade and huge competition.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
What kind of modifications did you have to make it shoot the ball?
So you just had to go, so it was on the iPad. And
right.
There was, buttons for it.
Okay.
And there was just a button where you just press it and it just shoots.
Okay.
And Miss Lloyd being super nice, what would I do? I'd come around and
you're
I'd move the robots. So they would have to control it back to launch it.
Nice.
They really loved me on that one.
Yeah. Nyla, how do you use robots?
We did the baseball game with the ball thing.
The Spheros.
The Spheros, yeah.
And it was we had to answer a question because there were 2 different teams, and we had to take turns answering a question. It was multiplication. It was where you had to multiply something, add something, and then divide the answer. And then divide the answer once you multiplied it and added it.
Nice.
And then you had to ask the teacher if you got it right, and then you could move it to the base, and then somebody kept a point score, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I like that. I like the words fun and learning all together.
They had a blast.
I think that's one of the key things that, as teachers, when you're integrating robotics, it's fun, but there's also a lot of learning that are tied to standards and curriculum.
Absolutely. So that's why I encourage the teachers to use them as much as they can, especially during their free time in the mornings. I've actually talked to Jeremy about that, coming in the mornings, getting them engaged, and then incorporating, especially into those small groups when they're working independently. So that was our big push to get them using it whole group. And now we're really pushing to get it using independently by themselves, because they're super smart. They're way smarter than we are with these things.
Yeah, they can probably figure them out a lot faster. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But we look forward to using them more. And I mean, they did amazing.
Yeah.
It was, no, don't take them away.
Anything you guys like to add that we maybe didn't touch and get to talk about?
They did. A couple of you helped at the Title I night, didn't you?
Yeah.
With it, do you want to talk about, what was it, the tech night for parent?
It was
Tech the halls, yep.
Tech the halls parent workshop.
Do you want to talk about that, how you taught the parents about the robots?
So like the day that we were like rehearsing like for the robots, we had to like first like figure it out like the day before or like the day of it, and we had like a really struggle because like the things that are attached to it, they kept like coming off, and we couldn't figure out how to put them back on, and we couldn't figure out how to shoot it. And so on the day, we still couldn't figure out how to shoot it, and so we just had to like move them around. And then Penelope and Sinai, I think, they worked on the like dash, and then me and somebody else from the Lighthouse team that was in my
I think it was Amalia.
Yeah, we did like the gingerbread house, and like they kept like glitching, and so it was really weird.
Well, tell them about the gingerbread house. We don't have that one up here, but what's the gingerbread house?
The
Do you
gingerbread
remember?
house is like where you had to make like a gingerbread house out of like anything. Well, it didn't have to be specifically a gingerbread house, and you had to like add like lights to it and like noises and like things that you could like press to make them do different.
What made it do that?
It was
Remember?
Scratch.
Scratch. We used the. Do you remember what that little circuit board was called? The makey.
Yeah.
makey. Those are good.
And our class spent a long time doing it, and it was like really cool seeing how everybody's gingerbread house was different, and how like they used different materials, and like how they had different things you could press, and different like lights and stuff like that. My favorite one was probably y'all's classes, the snowman one,
That one was really cool.
Yeah.
or I think it was the Lego one. That one was really cool.
Oh, that was really cool.
How did the parents react to the parent night and the Tech the Halls?
They thought it was pretty interesting
Yeah.
to learn how to work all of the robotics and learning how to work the gingerbread houses and the little robots.
Did you show the parents how to do it?
I showed
Or just-
them how to do the Spheros.
Yeah.
Where we would lay down answer cards
Nice.
and show them flashcards, and they would just answer the flashcards.
Did the parents figure it out? Most of them? Kind of.
Who had more fun? Do you think you guys had more fun teaching them or them trying to learn? It's hard teaching people at night.
Well, that's really great. Community engagement.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome too. Always, that's a great thing. So
Absolutely.
I really appreciate you guys being here and talking to us about this. And I really appreciate letting us come in.
No problem.
Love the things you guys are doing here at Sanger Intermediate.
No problem.
Anything we could do to help out, just make sure you reach out and
Absolutely.
keep doing great things here.
Especially thank you to these kiddos. They are doing an amazing job. They're being leaders in the classroom. So,
Like to hear that. All right. Thank you.
All right, so Jeremy, if teachers are wanting to introduce robots into the classroom, what would be the best way to go about doing that?
Absolutely. Reach out to us, your ILCs, and we can set something up for you. We do a lot of the bot camps.
Nice.
We can come out to your school, teach you about the robots, sit down with your team in a PLC, or we can come into the classrooms and do some team teaching, really teaching those kids how to use the robots before you try to integrate them in lessons. Once they have an understanding of how the robots move and you can control them and the different things that you can do, when you bring them into your lessons, it makes it a little bit more seamless. You're not doing the teaching of how do these robots, how do I connect them? How do they work? How do I drive it? Any of that stuff. We'll take care of all of that when we come in and do kind of that preliminary. And then once you're ready to use them in your class, you just kind of hit the ground running and you can get those robots out.
Nice. All right. So yeah, definitely reach out to your ILCs. We'll come out there and then we'll bring Jeremy with us and do the bot camps and, teach you and your students, the best ways to use these in the classroom and really get students engaged in learning, which is, what it's all about. And I've noticed, we went to Sangre Elementary and we did a bot camp. I mean, the students are super excited about that. So every time I've seen students using robots, I've seen excitement, I've seen engagement. And I think that's what we all want for our students in education. So.
Everybody loves robots.
All right. I really appreciate you being here.
No problem.
All right. Thank you. Bye.